So, welcome to this live chat. I'm going to be doing these about destinations that people have asked for and famous destinations or frequently visited destination. And the first one is London. London is my favorite destination, um, probably of all times. And so, first thing, let me share my screen because the first thing I'm going to try to answer is where is London? Where is London, United Kingdom? So let me go share my screen. And pardon me while I figure out how this works. Okay. All right. It's actually easier than I thought. Okay. Now, the weird thing is that when I'm sharing my screen, you can't see me, and I can't see me either, which is interesting. View tab. Here we go. Now I think you can see me and I can see you. The first one is always quite interesting, right? View. Okay. I think this will work. Share in tab and studio. Okay. So if London is in the United Kingdom, and if we zoom out, gives you an idea of where London is located. Now, the United Kingdom, it comprises of kind of simplified manner. You've got Northern Ireland here, you've got the Isle of Man, you've got Scotland, you also have England, and then you have Wales. And somewhere down here, between the English Channel, is a little place called Guernsey and Jersey. So those are all located down here. Most everyone will just go into London, and which is right here. Let me go back to the search. Okay, so that's London, pretty much here. There's something called the M25, and that's like the ring road that encircles Greater London. Then if you were to go a little further in, you will get to, I guess that's the A480, I think it is. Let me back out a little bit. And that's the one that runs right at where London Heathrow is. We'll talk about the airports in a little bit, but I kind of want to give you an idea of where it is, where London is in reference to the rest of the world, really. And if I zoom out a little bit, you can see London is right here. And just to get an idea where the rest of Europe is, it is an island. Although most people don't think of it that way, but it is an island. It's connected to mainland Europe by the English Channel. That's where the train goes to. And one cool thing is that if you were to take a bus or a train from, well, really a bus or a train from London to, say, Paris, it goes, the train will go under the English Channel. And if you take the bus will either go onto a ferry that will go across the channel, or it'll go in a train that will go under the channel and comes out on the other side in Calais, France. It's very cool if you ever get a chance to do it. Sec. And the computer is, I guess it's trying to, I said stop sharing, but I don't know what it just did. Okay, I think it went to this screen. So so what we're gonna, the next thing I think that's on the list is told you about Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Isle of Man, Jersey. How do we get there? Okay, let me go back to sharing my screen again. Share screen, and we're gonna go to probably the airport scheduled, and we can share. Okay, okay, there we go. So with this, it's so weird with the live. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. But anyway, I think I can make it work. Otherwise, okay, here we go. So let's go down. So what you're seeing is London has 6 airports that serve it. Now, from the United States, typically you will go through London Heathrow is where most of the flights will come through. And as you can see from the US, the airlines that serve the US airlines is, North America is Air Canada. And then there should be American. There's American there. And then there's Delta. And there is also United that's further. Actually, there's also Air Transat, and Air Transat doesn't do Heathrow, but now doing Heathrow. Now, WestJet used to only do Gatwick, but now they're also doing Heathrow. Now, there's also Virgin Atlantic, and that's a British airline, and there's United, and then there's also British Airways. Now, let's say we chose British Airways. What this program does, it tells you where in the world British Airways flies out. Now, London Heathrow is British Airways hub, and so it flies to 340 destinations out of Heathrow. Now, if we look at American Airlines, for example, American Airlines does Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Dallas, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Philadelphia, Phoenix, and Raleigh, Durham. And further down, we're going to have, where are we? Etihad. Trying to find Delta. It's like it's easier. Here we go, Delta. Delta does Atlanta, Boston. And then it does a flight that says to Atlanta to London. Now, this is because this is what's called a direct flight. It's one flight number, but it starts in the flight number starts in Dallas. You get to Atlanta, you change airplanes, and then you fly from Atlanta to Heathrow. Reason why they do this flight is so they can compete. If you're trying to buy a flight Dallas to London in the reservation system, this flight will actually show up. And so there's Detroit, there's Las Vegas, and Las Vegas to Heathrow is probably flown by Virgin Atlantic. That's probably one of their codeshare carriers. And there is, and it comes by Heathrow, Atlanta. And of course, they do Minneapolis because that's their hub, New York, Orlando, Salt Lake, Seattle. And so this program is actually here on passrider.com /airport-schedules. And what this does is give you the complete schedules for all the airlines worldwide, almost all the airlines, because some airlines do not participate. And the airport is London Gatwick, and that's LGW. And from London Gatwick, the airlines that serve London Gatwick from North America are Air Transat, as I mentioned before. And then we have Delta Airlines that's there. And then we also have WestJet. And let's see who else goes here. There's no Virgin Atlantic anymore. Virgin used to have flights out of here to Orlando, but they don't anymore. And we have Norwegian, which has quite a lot of flights that comes in. If you do Norwegian Air International, you will get a list. They go, actually, the one you want is Norwegian Air Shuttle, because we're trying to find the ones that actually go to the US. Let's see, where is, it's actually Norse is the one I'm looking for. So from the UK, Norse goes to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Orlando. So if you want to get into London from the US, you have to fly into Heathrow or into Gatwick. Now, Gatwick is in the southern part of the island. And I say island because it is an island. And I'll show you that in a sec where all the airports are located. The next airport we have is Luton, which is LTN. And Luton is kind of in the northern part of the UK, northern part of London. And now the thing with Luton is Luton just does quote unquote domestic Europe flights. I say domestic Europe because they still fly from different countries, and Ethiopian Airlines also fly into Luton, but it's typically mostly airlines, and Etihad flies into there. Mostly airlines from the from Europe that flies in. The other one is Stansted, London Stansted, and the airlines that fly into London Stansted are here. And Access Rail is just all the rail services. So we've got British Airways that goes into Stansted. There's Emirates, there's Etihad, there's Lufthansa, there's Pegasus, which is based in Turkey. There's Royal Jordanian, and of course there's Ryanair, because Stansted is one of the main airports for Ryanair in the UK. So if we go, there's another airport called Southend. Most people don't even know Southend exists, but it is an airport, and the only airline that actually serving them now is EasyJet. I actually flew out of here when Ryanair used to fly out of Southend. And the other one is London City. Now, London City sits right in the middle of the city. So you've got Air Dolomite, British Airways, Etihad, which is interesting that Etihad flies there. Let's see, where does Etihad? They, huh, oh, that's actually an error because Etihad is not a part of One World. So this is a different airline code that flies into here. So let's just check with London City to London Gatwick. Nope, that's not one. London City to Leeds Bradford. So the airline that serves here is not Etihad. So there's an error in my database. I have to fix that. But let's just go see who flies. Because when you click on here, it takes you over to another. Now, this is a system that comes from the other airlines. Yeah, there's something that showed up in the database. I'm going to have to go take a look at that and see why it's doing that. Because typically from London, Etihad, the runway in London City is not long enough to take Etihad in. To take longer airlines in. So it's really just small airports that comes out of London City. So let's go back to London City. And this data we get comes straight from the airlines. And so Swiss Sun's fine, Luxair, Loganair, Lot Polish. I've actually flown in there on Lot Polish. But this is actually from Vilnius. And so there's KLM, ITA Airways. Most of the airlines that fly into here, they fly Embraers. Used to be, it was a Fokker 50s and Fokker 50s and 70s that used to fly in here. So now I'm gonna stop sharing for a sec. I'll come back to here, and then I'm gonna share again. Screen I'm going to share now is the airport map. And on the airport map, I wanted to show you where. So London City is sitting, London City Airport is where we're trying to go. And I wanted to get, not directions, but I wanted to get it on the map. So let's go back to here. Google is really annoying, isn't it? Let's go back over here. London. We'll do London. It'll take us back in. And then we can see all the different airports. So this is where London City Airport is. Gives you an idea of where it is in reference to central London. Central London is just about here, because you can see the Thames. That's the Thames circling through London there. If you go further out, I want to show you where the other airports are. So let's look for London South End, South END. Okay, so the London South End Airport is down here. South End, I'm going to say airport. And it'll give you an idea where it is. But let's back up a little so you can get an idea of where it is in reference to everything else. So see how far down it is? It's in the south, right? London South End. So you can get an idea of how far out it is from the city. Now we can look at London Stansted, STN, and we'll take you back out so you get an idea where that is. So see South London Stansted is up here and South End was down here. London City is in the city here, and then there's Gatwick. Well, let's do Luton. Luton is sitting right there, a little far out, right? And then we have London Gatwick. So you get your idea where that is. So it's in the south of the city. And London Heathrow is over here where it says slow. HEATHROW. And so that gives you an idea of where everything is. So there's 6 airports that serve the city of London. The next we're going to talk about how to get from the airport to this city. So since we're already on here at London Heathrow Airport, we can go look at, let's go to central London. Let's say London Eye. It's one of the attractions that are in London. Okay. And so that gives you an idea of it takes 44 minutes by car, but you can also take the train. Now, once you come into, let's see, once you come into London, you take the, where are we? You get to London Heathrow, and then you can take the train. The tube, which is a system that the airport system that runs in London, will take you from, and if bear with me just one sec, I have to check the door. Sorry about that. That's the joys of doing a live video. So I was trying to telling you about directions of how to get from London into central London from Heathrow Airport. When you arrive in Heathrow, you can take the Heathrow Express, which is the fastest and the most expensive. You can also take the Elizabeth line, which is not as fast because it makes more stops. And then you can take the London Underground, which is the Piccadilly line. And that will take you right into central London. And you can go to your hotels or wherever you need to go from there. And so those are typically the different choices. You can see here it says you can take another line to the Elizabeth line because you got to go, and this one is going from, let me flip it around so you can see. Heathrow to London, you can take the Elizabeth line, which is the one that would run from the airport, or you can take the Piccadilly line. You can also take the bus. The bus is a 490. Reason why it's 10:02 because I'm doing this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. London is 6 hours ahead. And so you get all the different ways that you can go into Heathrow. Now, if you're going to go from London, Gatwick, it's a different story if you're going from Gatwick Airport. Um, Gatwick Airport, you can take the southern train. So when you come into Gatwick, you go to the south terminal, and the trains come into the south terminal. And what you do is you just go, you can buy your tickets right there. If there's a person there, you can talk to them and they can tell you what ticket you should buy because it depends on what you're doing, right? If you're going to be doing touring the place for a few days, then you can buy like a week pass or something like that. The week pass does not include a ticket to Gatwick, though. You still have to pay a little extra for that. I suggest taking the southern train. It is slower, but you don't pay as much to get into central London. And London has a ton of different train stations. There's like Waterloo Station. There's Euston. Um, there's Paddington. There's King's Cross, and yeah, there are a few more as well. And so the trains will take you into these stations, and then from there you can basically go anywhere in the UK. Now, if you're in Southend, it tells you can take the Great Anglia train to the Jubilee line, and that's just another one of the trains. And you can buy the ticket at the airport. If you're in Luton, that's Luton here. You can take the National Express bus that will take you down into the city. And same thing, if there's also a train that goes to Luton. I think it goes to Luton Parkway. And it might be because of the time of the day, the train doesn't show up on here, but there is also a train that you can take. London Luton. If we do Stansted, because we haven't done Stansted yet. Okay, that's Stansted. There is a bus that will take you from Stansted right into the city. The National Express is the name of the bus line, one of the bus lines in the UK. So if you go to nationalrail.co.uk, you can get all the schedules from there. And there are buses that will take you all over the UK from there on the National Rail. So London City is the one that's next. So to get from London City, which is right in the center of the city, you can take what's called the DLR. Now the DLR is the Docklands Light Rail, and this is the rail system that runs to a part of London, not the entire London area. It's called Docklands Light Rail because it was actually built in the area where I've been going to London for a long time, and it's running through areas there was basically nothing there at one point, and they really built up the area and they built the light rail. The light rail was there and then it extended it. So there's places where it's running now that it didn't used to run. As soon as they develop an area, then they develop the rail at the same time and then open the rail once the area is open. So that's typically how you would get to get into the city from the airport. The tube is the name of the system that I guess takes care of transportation in the UK. It's Transport for London. So if you go to tfl.gov, then you'll be able to get all the information about the tube. They have something called the Oyster card. Now, you can buy an Oyster card. I think you have to pay like between £2 and £5 for the card itself. But when you return the card, you get the money back. You can also use your debit card or your credit card if it has a tap, so you can tap in and out. tapping in and out. Every time you go into the system, even on the bus, you have to tap in. And when you leave, you tap out, even on the bus. What that does, it tells the system where you started, where you ended, and how much to charge you. There is a cap, there's a daily cap that you pay. And so the system keeps track of that for you. I think it's probably like £12 or maybe £15. And then after that, it doesn't charge you anymore for that particular day. There are zones 1 through 5, and you pay based on where you're traveling within the zones. Sometimes you can buy like a zone 1 and a zone 2 travel card, and that will take care of all your transportation needs just within those zones. The tube map will show you where the zones are. Um, I don't think I can show the tube map in here. I'd have to share another screen to show you the tube map, but everything is in different zones, and it's the easiest way to get around the city. There are buses at nights; they become night buses, and the frequency is much different at nights. All right, let's talk about things to. Oh, there is one more thing. There is the Uber bus. Now, the Uber bus, uh, it's a boat. I'm sorry. It used to be called the Thames Link or the Thames River Link. It might still be called that, but I think the last time I was there, it said Uber bus on it. I don't know why they changed the name, but you can also take that as well. So the next thing I have on the list is things to do in London. So I'm gonna screen, and now I'm gonna share another screen with you. And this screen would be airport schedules, things to do in London. Share. Okay, out of there. All right. Let me just refresh this. I created this article called 100 plus free things to do in London. And it literally is 100 plus free things to do in London. I'm just refreshing the screen for you. Okay, here we go. So if you go to here, just go to passrider.com and search for London, and you will see this in here. It gives you details that I just talked about, the tube, the overground, the underground. Now, the overground, London is interesting, right? There is the London Underground, which runs underground, and there's the London Overground, which guess what? Runs overground. Same system, just that's what they're called. Uh, Now, this system here will give you it'll talk about the river services, which I was talking about. That talks about what? Sorry, I'm going a little fast. The Thames Link, which is the Uber boat that's going down. Like I said, it used to be called Thames Link, but now it actually says, I think it actually says Uber boat. So you can get, those are the river services. You can also rent bicycles, and this is part of talking about the London Overground. Now, if I go back up to here, now there's so many things to do that you can do for free. Now in London, most, if not all, the museums are free. And so you can get into the museums anytime you need to at no charge. I wanted to let me see if there was any comments. Nope, no comments just yet. So let's just switch back a little bit, and I'm gonna go back to the map. Okay. So you can admire the House of Parliament. You can visit the House of Commons and the House of Lords with the Supreme Court. Attend Mass at Westminster Cathedral. Um, attend Evensong at St. Paul's Cathedral. An evening song, sorry. Walk around the Millennial Bridge. So there's like there's at least 100 things that you can do for free in London. One of the things that's not for free, but I highly recommend it, is take a cruise along the Thames. The Thames, As you can see from the map, I don't know if the map screen isn't shared. So let me stop the sharing, and then I'm going to reshare the map screen. Where are we? 100 free things. Just to the map again, and we'll share the map. So look at, if I were to search just for the Thames, so you get an idea where it is. Okay. It's showing the River Thames way out there, but I want the River Thames that's in here. That is the River Thames that's running all through London. And it's the same one that goes out by the Southend Airport. This runs right through and through the city. And so if you were to take a river cruise, the river cruises, they run like right past the Tower of London is one of the other attraction that's in London. Bar Market is in London. Westminster that I spoke, and it's not Westminster, it's Westminster. There's Buckingham Palace, which you can go take a look at, and there's a really cool view because you can't do a view like this yourself because no one's allowed to fly over but Buckingham Palace, unless you're in a commercial airplane that's way above you. But that's a good view to see. Bar Market is one of the markets that's in there. But I was talking about taking the boat, and the boat will take you all around here. Cool thing is that you get to see London from a very different perspective. It's one of the coolest things that I could suggest to do in London, and it takes you all the way down. It goes all the way to this stop here, which is Woolwich. Now, London has something called the Thames Barrier. I don't know if you can see it on here. You probably cannot, but it takes you all. The Thames Barrier is right here. It is a barrier that literally blocks the Thames. And so the issue is that if you are, there's a picture of it. It's set up so it protects the city. So if the city is ever going to be flooded, then the barrier comes up and it stops the city from being flooded. I don't know exactly how it works. There's also something called a foot tunnel. So you can take the ferry. The ferry will drop you right here at Woolwich. And then you can walk across the tunnel. See where that road just ends right there? And this road just comes and ends right there. Well, the Woolwich ferry stops right there. And you can walk under the tunnel. It's the coolest thing, and it's free. There's also a boat that runs across the top that you can take, and that boat is also free. Now, there is another way you can do this. That's the O2 Arena. There's also the Emirates cable car that goes from here and it goes right across. That will give you a spectacular view of London. There's the Isle of Dogs, which is, so in the middle of London, there is this little area called the Isle of Dogs. It's just a neighborhood, but it is actually very cool to walk over here. This is more of the Thames here. There's a National Museum is here. There's Greenwich Park is here. Greenwich Park is where the Greenwich Meridian runs through. And so that is somewhere in here. So if you take, and there's also another tunnel. There are two tunnels, and the other one is actually right here where the Cutty Sark is. Cutty Sark is one of the ships. I'm not sure the history behind the Cutty Sark, but it's one of those sailing ships from ages gone by. And there's a tunnel that you can walk across and come through. And so when you take the cruise will stop at these different places. And I think it's a hop on, hop off cruise. So you can get off and then get back on. The Cutty Sark sits right here. That said, it's a ship. And then you can just walk over to Greenwich here and see the Greenwich observation. And that is actually where when you talk about the Greenwich Meridian runs right through there. So you can stand on 1 o'clock on one side and 12 o'clock on the other side. It's the coolest thing ever. Sadly, every time I've gone, it's been closed, so I'm not be able to go inside the building. But they do have a line, and I think that picture just showed the line. There's a prime meridian, and yes, you can put one leg on one side and one leg on the other side. It's the coolest thing ever, as I said. So there's a ton of stuff that you can do in London, and I could talk about London forever. But so what I'll do is, if you got questions, just leave them in the comments, and I will try to answer them for you. I don't think I'm sharing anymore. Yeah, you're not really. I think it's because I'm only sharing the one particular screen. But this gives you an eye of an eye, because I see London Eye. This here is London Eye, and here is Big Ben right here. There's Westminster, and this is the Westminster Bridge. I think this is Tower Bridge. I'm probably saying the names of the bridges incorrectly. But this bridge here will take you to Waterloo Station, which is sitting like over here. You can't see Waterloo Station in the picture. Waterloo Station is one of the major train stations. This here is St. James's Park that you can see right here, and this is where the Queen's Guard is. Buckingham Palace is off here. This is Parliament is here. Parliament is actually here, but over here is where the Prime Minister's residence is, in like this set of buildings right here. So it gives you a pretty good idea of what London is like. There's Baker Street, as in Sherlock Holmes Baker Street, and if you get off of that station, you can actually go find you can see where the Sherlock Holmes used to live. If you want hotels, go to passrider.com/hotels, or you can use this map right here. And London has more hotels than it needs. They're all over the place. I suggest when you book in a hotel in London, figure out what you want to see and try to stay near to what you want to see. Although they have a really good bus and train system, sometimes it takes forever to get from one place to the next. And so the recommendation is definitely to try to stay in a neighborhood that you like, or a neighborhood that's close to something that you want to see. There's neighborhoods like Shoreditch, there's King's Cross, there's Camden, there's a ton of different neighborhoods. There's Paddington. Now, the thing with London, you do have basically, I think all the major hotel chains are there, plus they have local brands as well. And there's also apartments, or not apartments, but they're like guest houses that you can stay, or bed and breakfasts that you can stay. And literally you get a bed and you get a breakfast. These are actually really good, but beware that some of them have like 3 stories and they do not have elevators. So this means that if you have a bag or something, you have to truck your bag all the way up. I once stayed all the way in like the top of a 3-story. And because these are old, I think they're Victorian style homes, the stairs are very narrow. And so it's like one person can go up at a time. Now, the ones that actually have elevators, only one person can go in the elevator. I once went to one of these hotels, and the elevator, or they call it lift there. The lift, I had to put my bag in, press the floor to go up, and then walk up the stairs, and then go to that floor and take my bag out when the door opened. The other place too is that sometimes the lifts are so old, it's like the old lifts that you have to draw the thing. So just bear that in mind when you do the older hotels. You're not going to get the normal things. Some of them actually have the bathroom, because the rooms are so tiny, the bathrooms, although you're the only person using that bathroom, it's outside. It's outside the room. So do bear that in mind and look for that when you're booking the hotels. If you don't want to deal with all that, then just book at your Marriott, your Hiltons, your IHG, because they're all over the place. They do have a local brand travel lodge, and they have I think it's called Prime. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but this is giving it. This is the Tower of London. I spoke about riding the Woolwich Ferry, and this is the Woolwich Ferry here that you can take, and you can walk through the foot tunnel, and you can also walk through the Greenwich foot tunnel. Now, notice I'm saying Greenwich and not Greenwich because Greenwich, Grenwich, is pronounced Greenwich. The British Museum is a sight to behold, so you do need to go check that out. My favorite place to do is, and I'm gonna sharing. I'm gonna share another screen, and so let's go share again. And what I'm going to share is that one. Share. This is an itinerary that I enjoy doing when I go to London because it gives you a very great taste of London. What you do is you go to the Green Park station it's on the Piccadilly line. When you get off here, follow the sign that says Buckingham Palace. And so you have to go up because you're going to be on the ground. You have to go up the stairs, and then you walk through the park. And this is really beautiful, this area here. It's a park, right? So it's called Green Park. Very basic in terms of a name. You walk. There's always tons of people here, even in the wintertime. Summertime is packed. So you walk through Green Park, and then when you get here, at this point, you're going to see Buckingham Palace, which is right here. So you come out of the park, and you just walk around, and there's Buckingham Palace here. Tons of people taking photos and all kinds of stuff like that. And I think there's a Queen Victoria statue that's right here. And you can walk around the Queen Victoria statue. Then you can't cross the road here, so you have to go back, come back around, and then come back around here, and then you can cross the road there. When you cross now, when you see when they have coronations and stuff like that, and you see the horse-drawn carriages and all that, it goes up what's called the Mall, and this is the Mall here, which lines St. James's Park. And so this is what you're seeing when they're driving on that thing, and you see Buckingham Palace off in the distance. They're coming up this mall here, and so you come around here and you walk through the park. Park is beautiful. There's a lake. There's like ducks. Watch out for the little duck poops because it is. They're pretty good about cleaning it up, but the ducks just poop everywhere. But it's beautiful to see. There's lots of people in this park, and you just walk through, enjoy the lake, enjoy the birds and the ducks and everything. And then they even sell ice cream and stuff like that in here. So you walk through the park, and you can actually see the London Eye, which is over here. The London Eye is here. You can see it from the park, from in here, because it's pretty tall. And so you walk through here, and then you get to the end of the park. You're going to cross the way, and there's an empty yard, and it's what they use for whenever they have they want to show off the horses and stuff like that. The Queen's Horses Guard are here. If you want to see the changing of the guard, that's done at Buckingham Palace here, and I think it's like 11 o'clock every day, but you can check that. So then you get down here, and the Queen's Guard are here. Do not touch the horses, and do not touch the guards. You just don't do it. Then you walk through here. You can see all the horses guard. You can take photos, but do not touch them. When you come through here, there is Trafalgar Square, which is off in the picture here. Trafalgar Square is when the mall ends. Trafalgar Square is like over here. It's not in this. It's not a part of this picture. So then you make a right and you go down this street here, and you're going to go by 10 Downing Street. 10 Downing Street is the Prime Minister's residence in the UK. And all along here are offices, government offices is all along here as well. There is called the cenotaph, and this is where on the Veterans Day is what we call it in the US. In the UK, it's called Armistice Day. And Armistice Day, which is November 11th, the Queen, well, I guess it'll be the King now, comes and they place a wreath here, and this is where they honor the people who died in the World Wars. There's what's also here is a statue of the nurses that were in the wars. You walk down, and then when you get to this corner here, you're going to see Westminster Abbey and Big Ben. So Westminster Abbey is right here. There's Big Ben. There's the Supreme Court. There's St. Margaret's Church, and there's Westminster Abbey, which is going to be right here, right next to St. Margaret's Church. Then there's a Westminster Station. Then you come across here, and you can cross the street here. Then there's I think this one is a Westminster Bridge. The Abbey, not the Abbey, the House of Parliament is right here. And over here is what do you call it? London Eye. And Tower Bridge is over here. And so you can go over here, and you can walk along here and get a beautiful view of London. And so this is like my favorite way to walk through London and just kind of see a lot of the quote unquote famous sites. So just stop sharing for a sec. And that will give you, so let me know. I'm just checking if there's any questions. There are no questions right now, but I will let me know if you've, I see we did have somebody join, but I don't know who it is. But this will give you an idea of if you go to London, what you can do, where you can go. I'm going to leave a list of resources. Just go to passradar.com and search for London. You'll be able to find all the resources you can on London. And just let me know if you have any questions. So this is Kerwin with passradar.com and cruisingaltitude.com. And I'm going to be signing off at this moment. Just let me know if you have any questions. Just trying to think before I go. So from the US, of course, you can take United, Delta, American goes from typically all their hubs. And London is a very, very big market. If you're going from New York, you can probably find a flight going from New York every hour, which is insane. There's also day flights. Now, day flights leave at like about 8 or 8:30 in the morning, and they get to London about 8 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. at night. They're perfect if you just want to go, if you have a quick trip you have to take, so you can get up in New York in the morning at 8 o'clock, and you're in London by the night, and then you can go the next morning. You can go to work if that's what you wanted to do. But I hope this helps. I hope this gives you a good idea of what to expect on your next trip to London. Let me just check my notes. I think I covered everything that was in my notes, and I'm gonna share my things to do screen just once more and see if there's any that I might have missed. That's Big Ben and Parliament. Talk about the Supreme Court, St. Paul's Cathedral. That's St. Paul's Cathedral. There is a tour that can actually take you all the way up to the top. I will leave a link to the tour company so you can get a ticket from there. There is a Millennial Bridge. And so the Millennial Bridge starts on this side in front of St. Paul's Cathedral, and it goes across to here, which is the Tate Modern Museum. Now, this is a bridge that when they built it initially, it did like a little sway thing, and then they had to go back and put more dampening on it, and so they fixed it. This is what the inside of that building looks like, and they have different exhibits um, in the museum. London does have a lot of markets. There's Borough Markets, there's Camden Market, there's Spitalfields Market. If you can, you should try to go to one of them. This is Hyde Park. This is the park that's next to the Buckingham Palace, and it's only from there you can see the London Eye. This is Shoreditch. So Shoreditch is one of the quote unquote uh, what's the name of the area now? Oh, I don't want to say funky, but one of the trendy neighborhoods in and this is one of the streets where they have all kind of art graffiti on the road, but it looks artsy, and you can get food and all kinds of stuff when you walk through these streets. Um, Trying to see if there's anything else. This is I told you about the Thames barrier. This is what the Thames barrier with the tides up. One of the things in London you will notice is when the tide is in, it's in. When the tide is out, it looks like this. And I'm always amazed at how much the tide changes from when it's in to when it's out. It's insane. Um, let's see what else is there. So you will notice that when you're going. That's why it's the Olympic Park. That's why it's good when you take the river cruise, because the river cruise you can see um, where the water level was and where it is at the time that you're going through. London 2012, they had the Olympics, and the Olympic Park is still there. So you can go to the park. It's a big park, and you can walk through it. There is an aquatic center there, and you can actually, I believe you can swim in the pool for a small fee. 'Cause so the pool and everything is still there, and that I don't know what it's called, that red thing that they built that you can actually go up and you can slide all the way down. I didn't really do that, but you can do that if you need to. Harrods. London is like the king of shopping. You can go shopping. Uh, Harrods is one of the one of the biggest department stores in the world. And this was at Christmas time. I took this picture, and there's a stop for Harrods. Um, you can go. I think what's the name of the shop? The department store shop is Knightsbridge. So if you take the Piccadilly line and you get off at Knightsbridge, it drops you right here outside, and you just go right up into Harrods. Not too far from here is Oxford Road. I think I always call it street, but it's Oxford Road. And on Oxford Road is a shopping street, and you can have like a lot of shop. They call them high streets. There's a lot of shops in this high street. Let's see what else is here. So there's no shortage of what to do in London, and these are all free things that you can do. As a matter of fact, okay, they say here's a place that's really cool. There is an area called Little Venice. As you can see, why it's called Little Venice. London had these little thing called the narrowboats, and they're all over the place. And so they're parked along the side. I think you pay like a rental fee to park, and you can park for X number of time, and then you have to move your boat. So there are people who live on these boats, and they park along the side of this river, and so the area is called Little Venice. It's very beautiful. This was on a cloudy day, but it's very, 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 very beautiful area. The way to get here is to take the Bakerloo line to Warwick Avenue, and then you can walk along the canal. This is near to Paddington. Let's see what else is here. The British Library, Royal Academy of Arts. Um, South Bank. Just walking along the Thames is actually very cool because there are places where you can walk along. Um, let's see what else is here. That's in Mile End. Looks like that's probably. So it says it's a one. Oh, if you're an aviation geek, the RAF Museum is totally worth it. So you can actually go take a look at that. So these are all the things that you can do in London when you go. Um, if you're as an aviation geek, you should try to fly into London City. You land literally in the middle of the city, and it's one of the coolest landings and takeoff that I've ever done. So you can go take a look at that. Stop sharing, and I think that's it. Remember, if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to take care of them for you. Trying to think if I forgot something. I don't think. I'm sure I did because it's London and there's so much to do. Um, oh, currency. The currency for London is the pounds, and you can use your your bank card at any of the banks there typically. Your bank is probably going to charge you a fee to withdraw money. So what you can do is they take credit cards almost everywhere. It's a lot better than it used to be. Mostly Visa and MasterCard, though. They're not really a American Express, an American Express uh, place. They still take it, but not in many places. However, what you can do is they do take Apple Pay and Google Pay or Samsung Pay. So what you do, you put your card into those systems, and then you can tap. And when you tap, it'll take it from that card. But sometimes, if it's an American Express card, it won't. And sometimes it will. So you just have to try it and see which works. When you pay with a credit card, always say that you want to pay in the local currency, which is the pounds. Don't pay in USD because you're probably going to get an awful rate when you do. So if you say you want to take the currency in USD, it will give you it'll always give you a choice. So just say if you say USD, it does it at the exchange rate right there. But if you say pounds, it'll do the exchange rate when the transaction gets to your bank for your bank card. Um, Credit cards may have a fee to use the card, so make sure you have one of those cards that will charge you no bank fees or will give you back the fee that's been charged later. If you do need cash, you can take out US pounds at any ATM. Do not use those um, places at the airports, because the places at the airports, they charge you, you pay a fee to use and you can check when you go, you see what I mean. They have a higher rate and they charge you a fee. But if you just go use the ATMs, the ATM, even when the ATM charges you a fee, plus your bank is going to charge you a fee, you still make out better than if you go to one of those. And I've checked this, when you go to one of those places at the airport that charges a fee. And this happens worldwide, it's not just the UK. So just be careful of using those places. You can buy currency at the airport before you get to the US. You don't need to, because most places will take a MasterCard or a Visa. So you don't necessarily have to bring cash. It is not a society like the US where you have to tip people. The UK is not a tip. You can if you want to, because some people actually do, but the UK is not a tipping society. They actually pay their employees well, and they don't need to have a tip. But as Americans, you're you may want to tip because that's what you're, but just it's not a thing. Um, I was trying to. Oh, it's and still. So that's the thing with currency. Um, as any good traveler, you should always make sure you have some amount of foreign currency with you when you travel, just in case you need it. Oh, they do have shared ride services. I think it's only Uber, but just check the app. If you need to do that. I don't use Uber when I travel unless I absolutely must. Um, but you don't necessarily need to, because there is the transportation system, the tube, the underground, the overground, the buses, are on the Docklands Light Rail is really sufficient to do what you need to do. Remember again to give yourself enough time, because it takes a while to go get the transportation. Some of the tubes are like 4 or 5 levels down. It's very deep in some places, so you have to walk a lot. And I'm always amazed at how connected the entire place is. Um, and that's it. Enjoy London when you go, and if you got questions, just leave them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. This is Kerwin with cruising.com and passrider.com. Have a great trip and talk to you soon.